And we are live. We are live on the last day of the wild card round of the playoffs. I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy.
DJ Triggs.
And together we are No Debate Sports. We got the last game of the night here, Triggs. We got the Texans and the Steelers. I don't know how I totally feel about this game, but I can show you this. I had all my picks for the playoff, the wild card round, and I'll tell you this. Yeah, this is a 100% losing ticket thus far.
Oh,
I managed to get every single outcome wrong. I mean, I did pick the Rams to beat the Panthers, but they did not cover by 8.5. I'll tell you that. That's no debate.
I mean, in all honesty, I, I can't believe I'm saying that was the best game of the wild card so far. I mean,
Yeah,
and no one gave Carolina a shot, but Carolina came out fighting.
totally. I think it speaks volumes of the job that Dave Canales is doing. I do think Bryce Young is, to be honest, at the end of the day, I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. But what Canales is making him work from is pretty impressive. I think it's kind of like a Mike McDonald kind of scenario, except I do respect Dave Canales as a head coach. I do not respect McDonald as a head coach. I do not. That guy's not head coaching material. What happened in Miami was ridiculous. I do like the fight that the Panthers have. Their defense stepped up. They're one of those better teams in the league at going for it on fourth down. This is a team that moving into next season, I think they got a serious shot at making the playoffs again. They wouldn't necessarily be my pick to win the division, but I think this is a really strong foundation that Canales is building down there. And I think next season, they're definitely going to focus on making that defense a little bit better. But if I were them too, I would absolutely already start to figure out what do I need to make my quarterback position better, and how can I get myself there in the next few years? Because at some point that heat will ratchet up.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's true. If they would have had, I'm gonna say semi semi decent quarterback play. And I
Yep,
mean, the numbers are going to tell you that it was a good, performance and all that. I think they could have won this game. There was,
totally.
I mean, their wide receivers with Coker and McMillan, and I was a little confused on Rico Dotto. What happened? I mean, the guy went bananas in fantasy for like a month,
Yep.
and then you give him the ball like 4 or 5 times. I
Yeah. And in playoff
Yeah,
football, you have to establish the run,
yeah.
especially against a team like LA.
Yeah, and I mean they shut down Blake Corum and Karen Williams and like everything was going the right way. Obviously, Puka Nakua went off, but that was
Yep.
expected. But
Yep.
Jalen Coker matched him shot for shot. I, I I honestly, I mean, we'll talk about other teams where I just don't understand how they lost. But
Yep.
this was one of those games where Carolina could have beaten arguably the favorite in the NFC.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people were looking at LA to be the team that can run the table all the way to San Francisco in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I was one of those. However, as of late, I am starting to hear a few multiple people point out that the LA Rams defense is actually not all that. They did take a massive step forward last season, drafting extremely well after the retirement of Aaron Donald, landing both defensive end players from Florida State and really starting to solidify that front line and then work their way to the secondary. But you could even tell, even from Carolina, I think at the end of the game, drove down the field, and every time they were in the red zone, they scored a touchdown. I think they did that 4 times, or they came away with points 4 times, somewhere in that mix. So Carolina, their offense is not necessarily great, but it delivers, it executes, and it does exactly what it can for how Dave Canales designed it. So give him some props. And I'll tell you this: that Tetero McMillan, that is a big name receiver going into next season, especially for fantasy. That I have my eyes on. I mean, I got to figure out where it is where I pick. I know you pick near me as well. There are some receivers that I kind of got jogging in my mind. There's running backs I'm thinking of as well. But Tetero McMillan is a guy that I look at and say, wow, that's a guy that I don't even know when he was really drafted this season, but that's a guy moving forward that is going to be drafted easily, I think, within the top 30.
Yeah, I believe he was top 10.
Wow.
He was one of those guys where um, I thought he might have fell, a little further, and
Right.
maybe
Yep.
the Packers could have scooped him up. Yeah,
Sure.
he was the 8th pick.
Okay.
And I thought he was easily by far the best wide receiver prospect coming out. I mean, the
Yeah.
numbers don't lie. He was 14th in yards, 15th in touchdowns.
Sure.
Like, and remember, no one in their right mind except us thought Carolina was going to the playoffs. So for a guy to be a top 15 wide receiver, it's pretty insane.
It is. It is. Yeah, seeing that out of McMillan, and yeah, I definitely paid the price at the end of the year for not believing even more in Carolina. Should have really banked on that. I mean, if you look at it, the writing was on the wall. The fact that Carolina was moving in the right direction, the fact that Tampa Bay lost Liam Cohen to Jacksonville, and the fact that Raheem Morris is a bad head coach. And I've stuck with that ever since I saw him flame out in Tampa Bay. And then New Orleans is in a total rebuild since Sean Payton left. So really, you had a lot of ability for Carolina to move up and win that division. Plus the fact that they were going into this season, I think they were going into the season with a second place schedule in the South. Is that correct? I think they were, because it would have been
I'm not
Tampa
sure.
Bay first. Oh, actually, it was third. It was Tampa Bay and Atlanta were like neck and neck at the end of last
Mhm.
season. So then Carolina had a third place schedule. They will have a first place schedule next season, which will definitely be a little tougher. But Carolina is a very strong built team led by an offensive minded head coach. And I think that's what you need in today's NFL. I know there's a lot of coaching interviews going on right now. There's some weird movement going on, but
Mhm.
I think you got to have an offensive minded head coach. And I know the Packers loss is gut wrenching. It is one of the hardest ways to lose, and it eats at you. That is a really rough one there. But I'll tell you this. Um, I mean, I can understand not signing Matt LaFleur to an extension, but by no means do you unload Matt LaFleur. I think he is absolutely necessary to keep your team moving in the right direction. And if you move on from him, you're also pretty much going to be signing off from moving on from Jordan Love shortly after. I think it's a major mistake to move on from either of them at this point. It's not the right way to go with a solid team and a solid franchise like Green Bay has.
Oh man, I guess we're going to that one next, huh?
You
No.
got to go to it
Um,
eventually. You know that.
so believe it or not, it's not as gut wrenching as it may seem.
Okay.
Most Packer fans, I mean, if you're like a real fan and you're not just running around with your head, you know, on
Right.
fire and all this stuff, and
Right.
I've heard the burn it downs and fire this
Mm-mm.
guy, fire that
Mm-mm.
guy, all of this nonsense.
No way.
Um, I mean, even the Four Letter Network is pushing their narrative like they do with all Wisconsin teams.
Yeah.
So um,
I'll
when
tell
you
you this
look at,
too. What if he were let go? In my
Mhm.
eyes, if he were on the open market, and this is with everyone that's available out there, I have a hard time figuring out who is better between Matt LaFleur and Kevin Stefanski. I think they would easily be the top two candidates. Green Bay would absolutely be crazy to unload LaFleur. His winning percentage, the way his first half games are actually well scripted, he knows how to really come up with really good plays. He knows offense, man, and he's making guys win. Like Green Bay's in a really good place, and also the confirmation from Micah Parsons today. That's more leverage that Green Bay had, or that LaFleur has, that you need to keep a guy like that. I mean, in my shoes, I am a Raider. If you guys unloaded Matt LaFleur, I would want him tomorrow. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
every.
like,
I mean,
oh my goodness,
three quarters of the league would.
I'll take him over Cliff Kingsbury too, which is some pretty high praise, I think, in terms of offense.
Yeah,
Possibly
he has
too.
he has his quirks of
Yeah,
after those scripted plays, like can he keep going, keeping
Yep.
the foot down on the pedal and time management and
Sure.
timeout management, stuff like
But a
that.
lot of coaches are bad at timeout and time management.
Yeah,
And we'll
I
talk
agree.
about one that we saw in a game that a team won, but there was some sketch time management that we could, in an alternate universe, this guy, I think, would have lost his job.
Right. And so this game, right? Let's go back to this craziness that happened. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that, they're off the hook by any means, but
Yep.
the Packers, how do you say it here? Weren't Super Bowl contenders anymore when
Exactly.
Michael went down.
Exactly. That pass rush is gone. Plus, you
Yep.
traded Kenny Clark. So, like,
Mhm.
the ability to really bring that pass rush is just negated when you lose the guy that you traded Kenny Clark for.
Yeah, that's it. Not
Yeah.
Super Bowl contenders. So even winning this game meant nothing.
Yeah, you win this game, you move on to probably play Seattle.
Yep.
And as much as I don't like Sam Darnold, Seattle is incredibly well built. Um, like, and not only
Those
that,
wide those wide receivers, JSN would have torched us. Just being completely honest, it would have been a bad day.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, JSN is pretty much now like Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I do think Green Bay had a real nice win on Thanksgiving that benefited from the factor of losing Amon-Ra St. Brown. Granted, this was
Oh,
pre-Micah Parson getting
I
hurt.
mean,
But
we blew them. We blew the doors off of them in the first game too, though. So,
True. Yeah,
but that defense, Seattle's defense, I'm not saying it would have shut us down by any means. I don't think there's a real defense that could shut down Green Bay. They just happen to be off every once in a while.
yeah.
But and I give Chicago credit. They shut down the run game. But on top of that, it's the Packers haven't had like a sack since Michael Parsons went down. They're not a very good secondary because they've lost just about everyone. They had to go pick up Travion Diggs of all people, and Packers never ever do that. And then Bo Melton, who was playing both sides of the ball and special teams, he got injured. And it's like, now I know every team. I mean, I heard it from Bears fans all weekend. Oh, we're injured too. It's like I broke it down. I said you can make the numbers skew them any way you want, right? That's the fun of sports.
Yep.
But if I have 10 players hurt that are starters and you have 10 players hurt and they're all on the special teams, well, who's affected more, But and I'm not saying all Bears injuries were special teams, but the numbers are the same. Michael Parsons is either one or two the best defender in football.
I would say one based of what I saw this season. And I like watching Myles Garrett. I do think Max Crosby is definitely better than Myles Garrett. In this season, this stuff with the record chasing, I get it. But I do feel overall Max Crosby has a better game than Garrett. But that said, I saw Micah Parsons play a handful of games this season for Green Bay. And it is like watching something totally different. It's
Yeah.
like seeing Lamar Jackson for the first time. It's like seeing Christian McCaffrey just kill it as a Carolina Panther. It is something that I've never truly seen before on defense. And Crosby's fast on defense. I'll give him that. But the speed that Parsons has, Parsons could play offense with the speed that he has. I don't even
He
know
could
what,
be a tight end.
but he could easily be a tight end that would be very hard to deal with. And it shows. And not only that, the fact that his technique of tackling is so good that he tackles with his chest every time before he contacts any other part of his body onto an offensive player. Shows that he pretty much can never get flagged if he does that. His technique and his speed is just off the charts. It is better than anyone else I have ever seen play football on defense in recent memory, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why he's the only guy to have that, what is it, like double-digit sacks his first 5 years or some crazy number. He's insane.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. If I'm Green Bay, like the way that you guys are built, I would fight tooth and nail to definitely get another pass rusher. I think that's what you got to do. That's how you have to fight Chicago. You need that.
And they have to let Rashawn Gary go. Like it's over. I mean, paying that guy as much as we paid him. I mean, I could probably go check it really quick. The dude made a buttload of money.
You played a lot of years for you guys, right?
Yeah, and he basically had one really good year, and we gave him the contract like off of that year, and then all of a sudden it was just, oh,
flat.
Why are we still paying this guy? Like, let's see if I can see some Rashawn Gary stats here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got an extension of 4 years, $107 million. So we're talking 25, 26 million a year.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds nuts. Like, that sounds nuts.
I didn't catch too much of this game, but I did hear people say that even though this guy's been hurt the majority of the season, I did hear what people saw out of Matthew Golden was like, whoa. Like, that guy's got
a man.
Speed, I've heard.
Yeah, and that's another one of those LaFleur things where, I mean, we had receivers hurt all season. Jaden Reed came back off of injury. Christian Watson came back off injury. Obviously, Tucker Kraft went down, and we couldn't find this guy open anywhere. Like, that's kind of nuts.
I'll put a name out there because I do feel Green Bay is easily one of those teams that can benefit from size and knowing how part of the brackets shook up. If I'm Green Bay, man, I pick up the phone and call Philadelphia. If you can land a guy like an AJ Brown, man, I'd go for it. I'd totally go for it.
I'm glad you said that. I was in the Chicago area this weekend, especially during right when the game was starting.
Yeah.
So I was talking to the Chicago fans, and I was trying to have a very nice conversation with a couple of them. It was quite tough, I'll be honest. Chicago fans are pretty obnoxious
against you.
They're kind of like Cowboy fans, not to bash anyone, but so I talked to them and I go, all right, your window is right now.
It is.
And they go, well, we won the division and we did this and this and this and that. And I go, okay, cool.
It was
do you think right? And I go, do you think you're better than the Green Bay Packers right now? And they tooted their horn, stuck their chests out, and I'm like, okay, if you are better, you're not that much better. It's a pretty close gap right now.
Very tight. And this is a banged up Green Bay as well.
Right. And that's exactly what I said. So then I go, all right, Now you have Luther Burton. You have DJ Moore, who's already been paid. You have what
Odunze?
is it? Doomsday. Thank you. Loveland, Cole Kmet.
Matt?
You have two running backs that could be paid, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and I haven't even talked about your quarterback. So now,
Right.
if you think this guy is the guy, you have to pay him the guy number.
In a few
Doesn't matter if
years.
he's right. Doesn't
Yep.
matter if he's great, whatever. But all of these players are around the same
Age.
contract year.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
what do they do?
Yeah. And this is year 2 of Caleb, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So this is year 2 of Caleb. So really, you only get him on the cheap for next season and the year after,
right,
because you know the
right.
5th-year extension is not going to happen. You're
And
going to have to unload the Brinks truck immediately, especially when he's playing clutch like this.
well, I'm not going to say clutch, but I'll say he's good enough. But at the same time, I then said to certain Bear fans that were still not going crazy, I said, the thing about the Packers is we've been good for so long. We win divisions. We're either 1 or 2, here and there. We're in the playoffs. We're a wild card. We're always there, right?
Yeah.
And I said, we have been used to paying our quarterback. Brett Favre at one point was highest paid. Aaron Rodgers at one point was highest paid.
Yep.
J-Lo was highest paid. And we're still able to churn and put in skill players around them to get us to the playoffs. I said, now we have so many wide receivers that we're to the point where we're like, well, Romeo Doubs can go. Well, then Romeo Doubs had like his best game ever in the playoffs. Matthew Golden is hit or miss. Then he had his best game in the playoffs. Tucker Kraft's not there, but we gave him money. Christian Watson, well, we gave him a little bit of an extension.
I'd run with him, man. When he's out there, he's a killer.
Jaden Reed's there. And then now how you just said, maybe we talk to get AJ Brown or something like that. Now I don't think the Packers would do that because money wise, I don't know if they can afford it. After giving Parsons his money and Love his money and Christian Watson his money and this and this and this and that.
But Love keeps getting cheaper, actually.
Yeah, I agree. But Micah Parsons is the highest paid player, not a quarterback. So that's
totally.
kind of goes a little nuts. But
it does.
And I mean, if they somehow did the AJ Brown, great. But then some receivers have got to go. And
totally.
That's the movement as I talk to Bears fans is
and the TCU guy is good. I like the TCU guy.
Yeah. Williams.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Savion Williams.
More than my TCU guy.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just, I'm like, at a certain point, you got to learn how to build. Chicago's never really built a team that lasted more than a year or so. Even after they went to that Super Bowl, it kind of just fell apart immediately. And then they hated Rex Grossman, and then Devin Hester was a wide receiver, and they just throw whatever they can.
It's Ryan Pace, and Ryan Pace is doing a good job. I give him that. But yeah, like the window is now. I mean, I've been envisioning this kind of Super Bowl run to basically be either last year or this year. It is definitely this year. And plus last year, we didn't know if Caleb Williams 100% would be on the Chicago Bears, to be honest. What direction they were going in the offseason. So I felt like their ability with money and draft picks and how they're building it is now. And when you have Ben Johnson as your head coach as well, you have to deliver this quickly. The moment you pay the quarterback, the whole roster construction changes. And we know when the money comes for Caleb Williams, he will instantly become the highest paid quarterback. And he will also do it in a strategic way to make sure that he is that guy on top. And if there's any kind of timing things, he'll make sure he goes last to make sure he's up top. He's a very, very smart, cunning, calculative kind of person to play that position.
See, and that's kind of my problem, though, is like, I don't even think the Bears are that good now. Like, we talked about their schedule. Their schedule was one of the easiest. What happens when Minnesota puts it together? The Lions come back with something. Green Bay comes back healthy.
Yes. Yeah. I think the NFC North next season is going to be highly, highly contested. It proved this year it was probably one of the top three divisions in the NFL again. So, I mean, people recognize too that even though Detroit wasn't in the playoff, they were a playoff caliber team. They really were with how they played their games, how they fought. That was a team that has 2 wins against Chicago. They played incredibly well. They're a very well built team. They're trying to figure it out on offense, but even then, I still feel that Dan Campbell actually calls some pretty nice plays on offense. He knows what he's doing. He knows what direction he has to go to get better. But Detroit, I'll tell you this. I mean, I don't know 100% about Minnesota, what direction they're going in. That's a team that I'm really intrigued by how their offseason is going to play out. But we look at schedules, and you nailed it. Like, schedules matter. The easier your schedule is, the higher your likelihood is of actually winning your division. And I think next year a loaded Green Bay team is a problem for Chicago. Green Bay has pretty much done well for the majority of both games they've played against Chicago. And man, something telling me, like, watch Detroit if they have a lot of home or dome games like they did last season. That could matter.
By the way,
And also, Detroit's a third place schedule.
Fourth.
Wait, what? Minnesota leapfrogged them?
Minnesota, their records were tied.
Okay.
Minnesota wins the tiebreaker based on head-to-head win percentage.
You're kidding.
Yep, they were both 9-8.
Holy smokes. Kevin O'Connell won 9 games with what he was working with.
And that's what I was just about to say. So now the Bears, with that easy schedule, they actually had the easiest strength of schedule between the 4 teams. They had the lowest strength of victory between the 4 teams. Believe it or not, Minnesota had the hardest schedule. And they had
the Seattle game.
They were tied for strength of victory with Green Bay.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
Now, I know and I understand that Green Bay played third string players, and they actually cut that quarterback, Clayton Tune. Yeah. But, I mean, give or take, Chicago might be the 4th place team next year.
Very well. Yeah, it's very, very possible to see how this plays out. And the fact is, too, like, the NFL, by adding that extra 17th game, everyone's schedules got more impacted by actual strength of schedule. Now you're actually playing more teams that are at your caliber or below. And looking at, man, Detroit getting a 4th place schedule, holy smokes. I mean, I thought already going into fantasy next season, I was gung-ho on Detroit players. Getting a 4th place schedule, my goodness, holy smokes. I mean, I like the future of Green Bay, but man, seeing Detroit get that 4th place schedule, holy smokes, that changes.
Think about it. Think about it. Green Bay gets a 2nd place schedule.
True.
So, like, that means something too. That's, I mean, if you look at last year, Minnesota and Detroit had the 2 better records. Minnesota was like, what, 14-3 or something nuts.
They were all
and the Packers were the 3rd place team. So, like, and with all these injuries, they still were in the playoffs. So now you give them that easy schedule again, plus get these players on a different trajectory. Micah Parsons is actually in the game plan now. I mean, he was literally added to the team right when the season started. So, like, and Jeff Hafley, maybe he's not there. Maybe they get a new OC, which is kind of my thought, is they bring back Matt LaFleur. And what if Mike McDaniel comes in as an OC? That's not a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea. I know he just interviewed for Cleveland. I'll be honest, I could kind of see him taking that job. I I mean, again, I do not like Mike McDaniels or McDonald or whatever his name is. I do not like him as a head coach.
Me
He's
neither.
definitely an offensive coordinator kind of guy. But if he goes anywhere, I could see him going to Cleveland as a head coach because of how poorly run Cleveland is,
Right.
and how they kind of need like intrigue to draw their fans for their games. So I get it. But no, definitely getting a guy. He would easily be the most highest sought after offensive coordinator in the NFL. I think by far. Yeah.
Like,
So that
could you
it
imagine?
makes perfect sense. I think like Green Bay is just dying for a big time, just lengthy kind of receiver, and you get that changes your trajectory. You got enough speed guys. You got enough rowdy kind of guys. You need size. You really need
Right.
size.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So Detroit's an interesting one, and also with schedules and with Chicago playing a really cool, tough game coming up. I'm super excited for that game, actually. But I tell you what, San Francisco, there is some fantasy play in this. And also, San Francisco is going to have a third place schedule next season after having a fourth place schedule this season. They get back more guys healthy. Granted, they're going to lose pretty much George Kittle for the majority of next season. But I played with him in games that Kittle missed. I'll tell you this, Jake Tonjes is one of the best tight ends in the NFL. When he's out there playing, he's going to get you a touchdown almost at any given week.
Solid.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, the Bears actually are going to play the Rams.
Wait, the Bears play the Rams?
Yeah, the 49ers, Seattle gets the lowest remaining seed.
Oh.
So,
that's a tough matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say, either one's going to be a tough matchup, so we might learn something. I mean, what if the Bears beat them? I don't expect that, and they're not favored.
Actually, I'd say right now I'd take the Bears to beat the Rams.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And they're 3.5 points. They're 3.5 point dogs, and they're at home. So that actually means they're a touchdown. Because they give 3 points to the home team. So they're a touchdown underdog.
Okay. Yeah.
And the way that the Rams, and again, Carolina's not a bad defense by any means.
Right. But I could see Stafford making some stupid interceptions. Chicago is great getting turnovers. The way Dennis Allen works that defense. I think if you beat LA, you make Stafford have one of his worst games possible. And I think that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
About the offense, but I think on defense, you can definitely get Stafford. We've seen it over the years in the NFC North. Stafford is one of those guys that's good for an interception a game against a defense that can get a good read on him.
But the problem is the Rams are a top 10 defense. So, like,
it didn't look that way against Carolina. I'll tell you that.
Everyone.
They've lost a lot of games too lately.
Right. Everyone gets a run at the big dog. But
it's in Chicago.
LA's also a top 10 or a top 5 turnover differential. So, I mean, they do exactly what the Bears do, and they do it better.
Except for
the Bears. I
mean,
the Bears' secondary is really bad, historically bad.
Yeah, and that's a problem when you go against Devontae and Puka.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I see this team getting lit up. Is those two wide receivers just picking them apart?
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And the tight end play that LA brings is solid. And that's another thing too, for fantasy. If you ever need a guy, think about those Rams tight ends. And that seems to be kind of the next iteration of trends going on offensively in the NFL is teams are starting to catch on having 12, 13 personnel. It works. And for fantasy, we're a fan of it too.
The Bears are the fourth. The Bears are the fourth worst defense in the NFL. Down with Dallas, Cincinnati, and Washington. I don't know if you know that, but us Packer fans know that. Yeah. They basically win games with turnovers, which Matthew
Is dicey.
Stafford, he's been pretty. I mean, he's been okay. Like he hasn't done anything too crazy, but
Right. No, he played solid against Carolina.
he definitely did. Definitely played solid. I don't know. I just don't see a world where the Bears really have a shot. I don't know if I should say that out loud.
Maybe. I mean, initially I thought this was a Bears-Niners game. That matchup was actually really good. That was about definitely within the last month, I want to say. And I felt like that would be a problematic matchup. The LA matchup, I haven't seen before, but with the way you're laying it out, it looks like that's going to be a tough one as well. And we did see LA go to recently, I think it was Philly earlier in the season. It was kind of a cooler weather game. They actually played pretty well outdoors.
They did lose that game, though.
They did, but they did play fairly well outdoors, and I thought they would be like, oh, it's not warm and 80. So I give them props for that. But if Chicago is like what we say it is, then LA should actually have a pretty nice game. It might actually be an easier matchup than Carolina.
Huh. Apparently, Carolina matches up with LA really nicely. November 30th, it was a 31-28 Carolina win.
Yeah, Sean McVay almost lost to Carolina twice.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, some of these good coaches out there, they have their weird oddball flaws of just running into certain teams that you just kind of match up poorly against.
Right. And then you look at the rest of the season. I mean, they beat Houston, playoff team.
Yep.
Indy. At the time, Indy was on fire.
Yep.
Baltimore, Jacksonville, New Orleans was on fire. San Francisco, Seattle, Tampa Bay, they beat 34-7. And then you lose to Carolina. We should have known something was up with Carolina.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, Carolina just played pretty solid ball down the rest of the gauntlet. And the fact, like you pointed out, that's the NFC South actually had a relatively tough strength of schedule this season. So seeing the way Carolina built that is pretty strong. So yeah, how that reflects going into next weekend against LA, not the greatest, but and again too for fantasy, like Puka Nacua, that is a guy that I would say right now is playing the best wide receiver football out of anyone. He's coming out unguardable.
Unguardable is definitely the right word. And then the problem is Davante Adams is sitting on the other side going, you go ahead and try to guard me while you guard him. I'm the number 2 now. That's nuts.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always envisioned the way Davante plays, the way a guy like A.J. Brown plays. These are guys that are like outside tight ends. They are just massive. They're great route runners. A guy like that is just a total problem, and it's why Davante Adams, again, this year almost had a touchdown almost every single game because you have Puka outside and Davante is still a problem in his own right.
Yeah, that's insane. The guy had 14 touchdowns. Puka had 10.
Yeah. I know there was a push to make Matthew Stafford try to get MVP, at least have almost 50 total touchdowns on the season. They were trying for that. But that's the way Sean McVay runs that offense, and it's what he was aiming for.
That's insane.
It is. So yeah. Speaking of some weird stuff, I want to go back to kind of what I talked about earlier, where a coach nearly lost a game, and it may not have looked like it, but to me, it was mind-boggling. Because you're going against what I think is the best team in the AFC right now in the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I could not understand why Buffalo was trying to score a touchdown so quick on the goal line with about a minute and change left and possibly let Trevor Lawrence set up for a game-winning drive. Luckily, it got intercepted, but the way Trevor Lawrence was making it work on offense. He had those few interceptions. That's a problem. But man, I do remember the game last season where Trevor Lawrence went tooth and nail against Green Bay, and it kind of showed you at that moment in time that like this is a guy it's a big arm quarterback. It's a big posture quarterback, guy who has the size, and it's a guy who can lead a team downfield and score when he needs to get that done. Even though he didn't win against Green Bay, he still led his team down and scored on that drive, and that was very impressive from what I saw. And I thought he was pretty much about to do it again until that ball got tipped against Buffalo.
Sorry, sneezing.
Oh, totally. Yep. But I thought Buffalo, in the back of my mind, I really thought Buffalo was going to lose that game against Jacksonville, and I thought that would have been the first true playoff team to lose their head coach. And I think that is by far, I think, the number one job that a guy like John Harbaugh is looking at.
Yeah, again, you know how I feel about Josh Allen. Almost lost it.
Yeah, almost lost it. And the thing too that we're definitely seeing now is Josh Allen covers up a ton of deficiencies on the Buffalo Bills. He is putting so much weight on how he carries this football team that even with bad coaching decisions and a really shaky defense, Josh Allen put that team on his back, connected with the tight ends, connected with Brandon Cooks. They lost a few wide receivers in that game as well. Josh Allen in playoff football, in big-time football, he can absolutely deliver, and that's what it took to take down Jacksonville, which I think is, of all the wins that I saw of the playoff teams thus far, I thought the Buffalo win against Jacksonville was the most important.
I mean, to me, both quarterbacks were just meh at best.
No way.
Trevor Lawrence was bad. Like,
I get it. I get it.
He was bad. Josh Allen he just didn't. Huh?
I mean, he still connects with Parker Washington. Why he's not connecting with Brian Thomas and why he's not connecting with Jacoby Myers, I'm with you on that. But
I mean, he was almost like 50% from the field. That's pretty bad. He threw 2 picks. Like, this was the year that they had a chance, and like a team like Buffalo was ripe for the picking, and they just didn't take advantage.
Yeah, I also think too that seeing this surge from Jacksonville in the first year of Liam Cohen is a very, very good trajectory for them to be on. Now they will play a first place schedule next year. That matters. That matters a lot, and that will tell us a lot about Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
To be honest. But that being said, like I really feel that Josh Allen is carrying Buffalo. Like I don't know how far it's going to go, but James Cook had very little production against Jacksonville. This was a all-in Josh Allen game, and he did everything he had to win that game, and he did it.
Yeah, I mean, in his case, I don't want to say like empty stats because they actually matter. He does win games.
Totally.
I kind of put him in the same boat as like Dak Prescott. They put up these really good looking numbers, and like he'll have 3 touchdowns total. Well, I mean, he ran the ball 11 times for 30 yards. Is that good? Does that make him a running quarterback? Not really, but he ran the ball at the right times when he was close to the goal line to get those touchdowns. So, and I felt this way. I mean, obviously, we talked about Lamar Jackson and him, the MVP race a couple of years ago, but I felt the exact same way since then, that his numbers always look good at the end of the day because he gets touchdowns, he runs the ball in. But then I'm like, I don't trust him in a big game.
I gotta disagree with you on that. I mean, the only guy to take him down is Mahomes.
Yeah, because usually he has he usually has a bye in the first week, like, or he's playing against some terrible team because at the time the NFC East was a bunch of tomato cans. So like he was winning. Now that the Patriots are there, this might be the last window for Josh Allen.
Uh, yeah, I would say with the iteration that the Bills are now, and I think this is a team that really does need a real makeover, to be
Yeah.
honest. Um, but I put that more almost on management and coaching than I do on him. And I people do have credit and merit to what they said with him getting the MVP, that he's getting it in spite of not having all these real legitimate weapons to throw to. And I get that. But at the end of the day, I'm with you that he didn't have the best quarterback performance in the regular season last year. That by far was Lamar Jackson, by far. So he's there. He's doing a lot in spite of how the team makeup is. But yeah, moving forward, especially in the next season, it's gonna be different. And you could have, I think it's more likelihood next season that Kansas City makes a better push for the playoffs than a team like Baltimore. So you're going to have to deal with that at some point as well. And Buffalo will play a second place schedule, which it'll be all right. But
So
is it going to work well for them? I don't know.
Here's a perfect example. So last year when they played Baltimore in the playoffs, right? And I talked about he usually has a easy road or something happens in that first wild card game. They beat Baltimore by 2 points. He had 127 passing yards.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I mean, yeah, it wasn't. But he had this.
And Baltimore secondary was kind of
right, and it's like you should have ran through them. So yeah, he put up solid numbers, 22 of 34 for 2 touchdowns against Kansas City, and he lost. So, like, I mean, his numbers at the end of the day usually look good and they're inflated, but like, I don't ever expect him to wow me in the playoffs and go bananas. Let's see, the year before that, they played Pittsburgh in the actually, I'm sorry, in the wild card. And he ends up losing to Kansas City again, right? And I know Patrick Mahomes is his kryptonite, but they ended up playing Miami one year. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was 23 of 39, 59 completion percentage. That's bad.
Yep.
Then they lost to Cincinnati, 27-10. He had 264, a 59% completion percentage, no touchdowns, 1 interception. So Josh Allen doesn't play good in the playoffs. Like it's just, I mean, that's 3 years running right there. Let's go back one more. Now, again, he played Kansas City and he had his greatest game I've ever seen, 329 and 4 touchdowns, but he still lost. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't see it the same way I guess other people see it. He
was in that game though. The performance in that game between him and Mahomes, that is legendary. It's like the most insane quarterback performances that I can think of in a playoff game. To be honest,
absolutely,
they were killer. They were absolutely killer. And does he still have that firepower at any given moment? That he does. That's where you see that, and you're like, holy smokes, we have to deal with this guy. If we do contain him, then we do get the win, like you say.
We only see it against Kansas City, though. Like, I mean, I just told you, Baltimore, Cincinnati, another Baltimore game 5 years ago, 23 of 32. He had 62% completion percentage, 206, 1 touchdown. That's it. They won 17-3. So was that him winning? No, that was the defense shutting down Lamar Jackson. So, like, I give him all the credit in the world when he plays Kansas City because that's where he steps up. But every time he steps up to his highest level, he loses. So I don't know. I don't give this guy as much credit as everyone else does. His numbers are just overinflated and he just happens to win. I mean, even his regular season numbers this year, he was 11th in yards. He had 25 touchdowns, which was 9th, and he had 10 interceptions, which is 23rd. I don't want that as a quarterback. Like, that sounds bad.
Yeah. No, I get you on that. I see it. It's a tweener. That's where I'm like, it's a few things. I mean, one, in terms of fantasy, it's a guy that can deliver.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, but
Dak
is it a
Prescott.
guy that I can really go the distance with in real life? It's hard to say, and it's also hard to say that he can do it regardless of coaching. He's
Yeah.
really needed Brian Dable to get him right early in his career, and he definitely needed Joe Brady now.
Yeah.
Because what's his name, the former Miami Hurricane quarterback, Ken Dorsey, that was an utter disaster. It was not working under
Right.
Dorsey. So he needs Joe Brady, and I don't think he's going to have Joe Brady for much longer. I'll tell you that. But then again, Brian Dable is out there, so you got that weirdness going on.
But like I'm literally looking at uh ESPN's website right now. Rex Ryan says Josh Allen is the best player in the league. Where? Like I just
No.
went through and let me give you the last his 2019 playoff. They lost to Houston. 52% completion percentage, no touchdowns, no interceptions. They only lost by 3 in overtime. Was he the reason they won or the reason they made it to the overtime and lost? No, because he didn't do anything. But
Right.
how is that the best player in the league when he can't win in the playoffs? And when they do win, it has nothing to do with him.
Yeah, and I would definitely say right now too that Drake May is legit quarterback
Yeah,
play, especially in his own division. I did not like the way that second Buffalo New England game went. That was kind of weird. But that does show you the firepower that Josh Allen can bring. He can absolutely unload it, and it can happen. But to say definitively he is the best player in the NFL left at this point, that's not true. We don't know exactly how he's going to fare out against Drake May throughout this playoff. And also, who does Buffalo play next round?
let's
Because we
give it a look.
know New England's waiting for the winner of tonight's
Oh,
game.
Buffalo plays Denver.
Buffalo plays Denver. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're going to Elevation next week
Hmm.
um, against a team that loves playing out there. And if you're a very one-dimensional team against Denver, it will show.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a matchup that already I would favor. Again, I favored Jacksonville against Buffalo. I would definitely favor Denver against Buffalo.
like and again, not to sit here and harp on Josh Allen, but like if you look at his big games, so it was the first game against Baltimore. Uh then he had a big game against Miami and Cincinnati and New England. So, I mean, only one of those teams is a legit playoff team. The
Yep.
rest of them are pretty bad.
Yep.
Like uh his last 2 games, he played Cleveland and Philly. He had no touchdowns. Like
And Philly,
I just don't get it.
you can throw on.
Yeah, how does that make this guy the best player in the league? I don't get it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm with you on that. He's solid. I think he's an
Solid.
alpha. I think he's what you need to win a Super Bowl with. But do you have that consistency? Do we know what it's like just based on his own merit and not with the coordinators he has?
Right.
Not at this point. No way.
And now when he's putting up big numbers against teams that are bad.
Yeah, and that's why he's great in fantasy. Like
Yeah.
you're going to get one of those matchups where he's going to clock a team for like 6 total touchdowns. That's going to happen. But he also falls completely flat against certain teams that are really bizarre in the regular season as well.
Uh New York Jets, New Orleans Saints,
Yep.
uh Atlanta Falcons, 2 interceptions,
Yep.
Miami, 1 interception, Tampa, 2 interceptions,
And
Houston, 2 interceptions.
Tampa was
Like,
bad, man.
but he put up 6 touchdowns because he ran 3 in, but
Right.
his numbers were horrible.
Yeah, it's rough. Like I would
Mhm.
not I like he is definitely best player on Buffalo for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he is the best player on Buffalo. I like James Cook a lot as well. But yeah, like they need a lot to go right. And to be honest, Buffalo needs more on that team to get them right. I don't even like, yes, Buffalo can match up against New England. We know that. Can Buffalo match up against Houston? That I don't. I thought Houston actually won against Buffalo. Am I think I'm right about that.
Ooh, I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look.
I want to say the Texans beat Buffalo. It was kind of the beginning of their run, kind of a third of the way through the season.
Let's check.
I
Houston.
think it was in
Yeah.
Houston.
Yep. In Houston, 23-19.
Yep.
I'm just gonna bet that was a bad Josh Allen game.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, look at that. 2 interceptions. That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
No
So
touchdowns.
yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
that and Houston's great for sure, but if you're great as well, you got to at least a great quarterback can deliver against a great defense. That we know
Yeah,
is true.
he got outplayed by Davis Mills.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's rough. That's rough.
And James Cook
Yeah.
had 116 yards and a touchdown. Just saying.
Yeah. Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: James Cook, I had in my other league. He is a guy that I definitely like going into next season. I got a weird feeling about James Cook that's not good though. Like I got a weird feeling that like he could have a bad injury. I hope it doesn't happen. But going into a new stadium, new turf, um, a lot of weight still on Josh Allen's shoulders. If they lose James Cook, they're done, man.
They're toast.
That's a guy you can definitely not lose. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say going into next season, I'm already thinking that New England is probably going to repeat as division champs. I know they play a first place schedule, but they play really solid football, and they kind of know already what they're not good at, and they're already overperforming what people thought of them this season. So I think they could do it. You got a lot of deficiencies on Buffalo. And you got two other teams that are pretty much in total rebuild mode between Miami and the Jets. But Miami might be kind of sneaky. We might have to look at that some more.
Right.
But yeah, that's what you got with Buffalo.
Oh,
I
real.
know everyone wants them to go to the Super Bowl, but I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think the
No.
path throughout the rest of the AFC is way too tough for them. I think all three teams. Yeah, I'll be honest. I would actually pick all three teams or all four teams that exist in any given matchup. I would pick all four of those against Buffalo.
So I know we're getting close to that hour. Real quick, best quarterback in the San Francisco Philly game was Juwan Jennings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did you hear? Did you hear he has like the record now for most games in the playoffs with a perfect quarterback rating?
Ooh, that's sneaky, man.
Yep,
That is
158.3.
Ooh, man, that's clutch. Yeah, Juwan Jennings, that's a really sneaky guy going into fantasy next year. And again, I'm high for fantasy. If you got to think of anything moving forward, I'm telling you, Detroit Lions and San Francisco 49ers. You build a team like that next year, you are set. Very easy schedules, very loaded fantasy players, sneaky fantasy players, and like Juwan Jennings, Jameson Williams, and Jake Tonjes. Like you got some guys, man. Like it's two pretty cool teams you got there. Like I'm hoping San Francisco kind of just keeps winning games. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's fun, man.
CMC is no slouch either. I don't
know. No, he is crushing it, man. I mean, seeing him play, that touchdown he had against Philly was impressive. Yeah, like he is another guy that like I was down on CMC this year, but totally wrong. CMC absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, he's almost like I don't want to say unstoppable because he didn't have the greatest game, but he's just out there and making things happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, he's got that playmaking ability. I mean, I would say, I'll tell you this though, the best running back I saw this season, as much as I like Jahmyr Gibbs, the guy who just flat out makes a difference on the television is a guy that actually trains in the offseason with Christian McCaffrey, is Bijan Robinson. Like those guys, they mirror each other. They have very similar styles in how they play. And if Atlanta figures it out in the offseason, Bijan's another guy I like going into next season for sure.
I mean, the real question is Philly going to figure it out this offseason?
Nope. I will tell you that. I think that team definitely begins to go on a nosedive.
Yeah. I think they may have gotten lucky to break that 20-year streak of NFC East teams, but Dallas kind of fell on their own face and the Giants got hurt.
Yeah, I would say going into next season, you're going to have serious competition out of Dallas and the Giants.
The Giants, yep. I agree. If they're healthy and ready to, if they have a good coach, whoever they hire could really work.
Absolutely. It's a team that I played with fantasy. I like these guys on the Giants. I heard some negative news on Malik Neighbors. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm with you on the Giants, man. I think get the right head coach, get some players healthy, get a guy who's offensive and can really fortify the offense moving forward with Jackson Dart. That's exactly what that team needs.
Yeah. At least they don't go to the Super Bowl again.
Oh, next season? I don't know, man.
No, I mean, I'm just saying the Eagles, like we have we have a different Super Bowl, contender out there.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. I found out the last 8 Super Bowls, the team out of the NFC has pretty much always been either the Eagles, Niners, or Rams. And then you had one Tom Brady season for the Buccaneers in there as well. But that's it. Pretty much the last 8 years have only been 3 teams out of the NFC.
Which is probably going to happen again this year.
I think it changes. I mean, it's possible.
It won't be Chicago. I'm just saying. It's going to be someone from the NFC West.
Exactly. It is definitely an NFC West team, which makes it very possible. It could be the Rams and the Niners again.
They could be battling each other for the spot.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff we got there. But yeah, pretty good stuff going into the divisional round games. I think we got a lot for our show today. We can talk about coaches next week. Maybe someone will get fired and hired. Exactly. Yeah, there could be more hirings next week, depending how things play out. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, pretty excited to see some new stuff next week. So we'll talk about that then. I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy,
DJ Triggs.
And that's No Debate.